Typhoon Sanba hits China twice, flooding in Guangxi reaches over 1 meter, vehicles swept away. Worker breaks into Chinese brewery warehouse to pee on raw materials. Shaolin Temple Abbot Yongxin appears on run flight. Private equity tycoons collapse and surrender, expert analysis of China's economic difficulties. Xi Jinping's political opponents on the move? CCP might attempt to redirect conflicts. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Typhoon Sanba hits China twice, flooding in Guangxi reaches over 1 meter, vehicles swept away. After making landfall at Hainan province on October 19, 1 day later, Typhoon Sanba made a second landfall in Guangdong. At the time of landfall, the wind speed near the center reached 20 meters per second, classifying it as a tropical storm, causing heavy rainfall and flooding in Yongxin, Guangdong. Several areas received more than 300 millimeters of intense rainfall within 24 hours. Flooding was particularly severe in places like Shuangjiao town in Yongxin city, where floodwaters inundated streets, transforming them into rivers with swift-flowing waters. Buildings were submerged, and numerous cars were immersed, with some being carried away by the floodwaters. On October 20, Maoming City in Guangdong issued a red rainstorm warning. A series of schools in the city in Yongxiang City were suspended. In Yongxin City, emergency flood control personnel reported that firefighting and rescue operations have already begun, and floodwaters have receded in some villages. Casualty figures are currently being compiled. Due to the impact of Typhoon Sanba, numerous areas in Guangdong and Guangxi have broken local rainfall records, exceeding even the effects of the recent Typhoon Haikui. Haiyan recorded a maximum of 555.1 millimeters in 24-hour rainfall, while Sanba reached 778.1 millimeters. Worker breaks into Chinese brewery warehouse to pee on raw materials. On October 19, an incident came to light at Tsingtao beer factory in Shandong province, where a man wearing work clothes was seen climbing shelves and urinating inside the raw material warehouse. This video capturing the incident has gone viral on the internet and has caused outrage among the public. People expressed their revulsion, stating, "It's truly repulsive, I won't dare to drink Tsingtao beer anymore," and people used to joke that beer tastes like urine, and now it's become a reality. Some individuals took the opportunity to make jokes. The secret formula has been revealed. I've always said that my uric acid levels were rising from drinking beer, and it turns out I was drinking the original flavor. Another netizen mentioned that this phenomenon is not uncommon on the mainland, and those caught are just the tip of the iceberg. There are speculations among netizens that if this news is accurate, Tsingtao beer may incur losses in the billions, with the potential stock price plummeting by tens or hundreds of billions. A user on the Zhiyu platform claiming to be in Qingdao expressed deep heartbreak over the incident, wrote that Tsingtao Beer Group is the second largest beer producer in China, contributing over 6 billion yuan in taxes annually. It ranks among the top taxpayers in Qingdao, with the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission of Qingdao holding a 32.5% stake, and the economic losses are immeasurable. The impact on tourism and restaurant consumption driven by the beer industry each year cannot be easily quantified, and it's even more significant than the impact of a bank robbery. Regarding the incident, the staff of the Tsingtao Brewery warehouse claimed that they did not know about the matter and wanted to know more about the situation. Relevant agencies are investigating the case. Mr. Li, a Qingdao resident, told NTD-TV that this incident is not surprising. Food safety issues in China are very concerning due to a lack of moral constraints, and food producers have no ethical boundaries. Additionally, the inadequate supervision by the Chinese Communist Party government has further exacerbated this behavior. Shaolin Temple Abbot Yongxin appears on run flight. Yongxin, known as the CEO of Shaolin Temple, was recently seen and photographed on a flight abroad. Has been reported many times for having dual household registrations, keeping several mistresses, and having illegitimate children with nuns, among other scandals. On October 20th, a netizen posted a video on social media featuring Yongxin, the abbot of Shaolin Temple, was on a flight to the United Arab Emirates. After he chatted with a female flight attendant for a few words, the abbot discovered that someone was filming him, so he sat back down on his own seat. In the business class of Emirates Airlines, looked very eye-catching wearing a monk's robe, but he did not seem to have an entourage or translator. It remains unclear Yongxin was traveling abroad for a visit or other purposes. But recently, China's economy has continued to decline, and the authorities have continued to send out signals of cutting leaks, causing many wealthy people to immigrate overseas. Public information shows that Yongxin's common surname is Liu, his given name is Yingcheng, and his legal name is Yongxin. He is also vice president of the Chinese Buddhist Association and president of the Hunan Buddhist Association. Yongxin is a representative of the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th National People's Congress of China. He was promoted by Zhao Puchu, the former president of the Chinese Buddhist Association in the early days. In 1999, after being recognized by China's Religious Affairs Bureau, Yongxin officially took over as the abbot of Shaolin Temple. That year, after Chinese former leader Jiang Zemin suppressed the practitioners of Falun Gong, another Buddhist cultivation method, made many remarks slandering Falun Gong. Since then, has established Shaolin Industrial Development Company, Limited, Shaolin Film and Television Company and other institutions, and has control of at least 18 companies. For this reason, he is called Shaolin CEO and political monk. In July 2015, when the Chinese Communist Party authorities were carrying out an anti-corruption campaign, an insider with signature Shijingyi from the Shaolin Temple in Hunan published an article online titled Abbot Yongxin of Shaolin Temple is such a big tiger, who will supervise it? The article provided relevant evidence and reported that Yongxin had illegitimate children with the nun Yongjie. Shijingyi has continuously exposed scandals related to Yongxin 5 times. Among them, the reporting materials stated that not only purchased multiple million-dollar luxury cars, with fancy license plates, but also gradually transferred industrial shares of Shaolin Temple-related companies to his mistress. Shaolin Temple denied this. In response, 29 Shaolin Temple disciples issued a statement on the internet, claiming that Shijingyi was Yenlu, the former chief monk who was expelled from the Shaolin Temple by Yongxin. In August 2015, Yenlu and 6 monks or employees related to the Shaolin Temple came to Beijing to publicly denounce Yongxin. Although the authorities investigated Yongxin after that, the result was nothing. In August 2018, after the National Joint Conference of Religious Groups under the control of China's United Front Work Department issued the initiative on displaying the national flag at religious activity sites, Yongxin asked Shaolin Temple to take the lead in taking a stand. That month, an announcement about displaying the national flag appeared on the official website of Shaolin Temple, which was criticized by public opinion. Yongxin withdrew from Hunan Shaolin Intangible Assets Management Company, Limited, owned by China Songshan Shaolin Temple Holdings, in April 2022. Before his withdrawal, he held 80% of the shares. In June 2022, Yongxin resigned from his position as the legal representative at Zhengzhou Kaiyuan Temple Construction Management Company, Ltd. Private equity tycoons collapse and surrender, expert analysis of China's economic difficulties. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, recently announced that the latest economic data surpassed expectations, giving rise to optimism in the economic sector about approaching stability. However, the capital markets have reached new lows. Some private equity firms have gone as far as advising investors to redeem all their fund shares, causing shockwaves in the industry. In more detail, the 3 major A-share indexes continued their descent that began on Thursday, October 19, with the Shanghai Composite Index falling below 3,000 points, marking a low last seen almost a year ago. The Shenzhen Component Index and the Growth Enterprise Market Index also recorded significant drops. The total trading volume in both the Shanghai and Shenzhen markets amounted to 731.7 billion yuan, showing a decrease of 81 billion yuan compared to the previous day. Meanwhile, Morgan Stanley, an American multinational investment bank and financial services company, recently reported that from August 7 to October 19, a total of $22.1 billion left the A-share market, constituting the largest exodus in the history of the Hong Kong stock market. Presently, foreign investors leaving the A-share market have entered an unprecedented phase. This response from investors persists despite a series of recent CCP market rescue measures, underscoring the lack of confidence in the market. In this context, an open letter from a private equity fund named Dongfang Dingtai Investment, advising investors to redeem all fund shares, has caused widespread panic among investors, earning the nickname of the "raising the white flag, surrender" incident among netizens. The company stated that both domestic and global political and economic environments are facing unprecedented levels of uncertainty, and that the stock market has lost its foundation for long-term value investing, rendering long-term investment strategies based on fundamental analysis ineffective. We earnestly recommend all investors to redeem their shares in our company's funds. This letter has sent shockwaves throughout the investment community. Wall Street reported that a billion-dollar stock-picking guru surrenders. A NetEase account states, even the bigwigs are giving in. Ding Tai's official WeChat account has issued an urgent statement, explaining that the letter represents the personal opinion of some individuals within the company. However, the company is under significant pressure, which is why they have temporarily allowed the redemption of shares to adjust the investment pace in consultation with investors. Recently, the board secretary of the billion-dollar valued company, Oriental Yuhong, also posted a statement, expressing, "The way the stock market has been plummeting is completely beyond my expectations, repeatedly challenging my understanding. It is due to the lack of effort on the part of our management and team. I'm utterly perplexed. What on earth is happening in this world?" It is known that Dongfang Dingtai is a private equity fund that operates in the secondary market. The secondary market, as the name implies, encompasses trading on various stock exchanges, both online and offline. It provides financial management services to individuals and institutions while delivering regular reports to investors. If they consistently incur losses every month, they are bound to face criticism. Therefore, their current state of near collapse is primarily due to their inability to endure the situation any longer. Regarding the prevailing pessimism in the investment community, Li Hengqing, an economist at the American Institute for Economic Research, said that this reflects the current state of affairs in China. Chinese government neglects livelihood. On the 20th, American financial scholar David Huang provided an analysis to the Epoch Times, saying, "These so-called private equity giants have always made money by exploiting information disparities, manipulating the rules of the game and regulatory gaps, or the areas with shortcomings in the system. They themselves lack the capability to generate profits. Their collapse is attributed to their very poor recent operational and investment results." However, Mr. Huang went on to say, for the average retail investors and the general public, when privileged individuals with access to information others don't have surrender, raise the white flag, it signifies an extremely negative market sentiment. Panic will spread, which is a significant downside for the market. What impact will this have on the overall Chinese economy? Economist Li Hengqing also believes it leads to despair, a state where people either choose to lie flat or seek to emigrate or escape. We've seen several news reports about people ultimately resorting to despair, jumping off buildings, or poisoning themselves. They have completely lost confidence in this society and their own future, which is genuinely terrifying. It's poison for society, there's no other way to describe it. Li also commented on the government's role, stating that if the Chinese government genuinely wants to address this issue, they need to take concrete actions for the well-being of the common people. However, it's not clear that they are doing that. It seems they intend to continue with their current approach. So far, Premier Li Chang has not proposed any effective solutions to tackle China's current economic crisis. Regarding livelihood issues, Li said, the CCP's concerns are entirely different because their concern for livelihood is solely to maintain their rule. They need to keep the leeks alive to continue harvesting them. This is their perspective, rather than genuinely caring for the people, despite their public statements such as "never forget the original aspirations," Keep in mind the mission, the people are the heavens, and the people are the nation, and so on. It's just nonsense, deceiving people. In recent years, Xi Jinping has strengthened his position in Zhongnanhai. Li Hengqing pointed out that the government's spending on livelihood or investments in livelihood is minimal. They have always focused on expanding and strengthening state-owned enterprises because the party aims to control everything. This aligns with their intentions but doesn't meet the needs of social development and the people. China's economy faces deep crisis, stock market continues to struggle. Many experts believe that China's economy is still fragile, and several factors are contributing to a bleak long-term outlook, with the stock market showing unfavorable prospects. Financial scholar David Huang explains, China's exports to Europe and the United States have not seen significant growth. Overall, China's private enterprises and future export industries have not shown improvement, they are still operating at the bottom. Additionally, some of the market rescue measures introduced by Beijing have not yielded the expected results. Investors are hoping for more robust support measures and effective improvements in international relations and trade. Furthermore, the real estate sector, which has been a driver of China's economic growth for decades, is experiencing a severe downturn. In the first 3 quarters of the year, national real estate development investment was 8.7269 trillion yuan, a year-on-year decrease of 9.1%. Residential investment, in particular, has fallen by 8.4% year-on-year and has been in negative growth for 17 consecutive months. In recent years, real estate once accounted for a quarter of China's gross domestic product, GDP. Adam Wolf, an emerging markets economist at Absolute Strategy Research, predicts that as Beijing seeks to reduce the oversized role of real estate in driving economic growth, China's economic growth rate may fall to 3% or lower in the coming years. In the long term, China also faces deep structural problems. Productivity growth has stagnated, there is a significant aging population, and debt levels continue to rise. The Wall Street Journal recently warned that China's economy could face a deep crisis in the next few years, with concerns about a potential crisis erupting in China. Mr. David Huang believes, in fact, the current crisis is somewhat similar to the 2015 Chinese stock market crash and financial crisis. The current situation of China's economic problems is more complex, overlaid with unfavorable factors in international relations and trade. So now it's not just about the next few years. In fact, China's domestic economy is already in a difficult situation and in the midst of an economic crisis, but the form of its outbreak is just different from that of Western economies. Xi Jinping's political opponents on the move? CCP might attempt to redirect conflicts. The CCP is actively involved in the global situation by participating in the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. However, the CCP faces growing internal challenges that threaten its stability. There are reports suggesting that political adversaries of Xi Jinping, China's leader, are taking action against him. This information was revealed by Mr. Guo Jun, the chief editor of the Epoch Times Chinese edition. Mr. Guo stated that he received confidential information about influential CCP members opposing Xi Jinping. Allegedly, a plot to assassinate Xi was uncovered in Beijing at the end of the previous year, involving many military and security personnel and implicating numerous officials, particularly those in mid-level positions. Mr. Guo acknowledged that verifying such information is difficult within China's political climate. Nonetheless, it's evident to the outside world that Xi Jinping's security measures have significantly intensified this year. He now prefers train travel over flying, and his personal security team has grown to nearly 500 members. He also disclosed that information from multiple sources indicates that factions opposing Xi Jinping are forming within the CCP. These factions mainly comprise individuals from influential families, known as Red Second Generation, Red Third Generation, as well as those with official family backgrounds, labeled Official Second Generation and Official Third Generation. These individuals have accumulated significant wealth over the past 2 decades, with their assets estimated in the trillions. However, Xi's policies have disrupted their financial interests, leading to their opposition to him. They are primarily using financial resources to launch counteractions and have reportedly initiated several significant operations. This suggests that the foundation of the CCP's rule is facing resistance from within, with some taking action while others refuse to cooperate with Xi's regime. In this challenging environment, questions arise about the CCP's ability to maintain its rule. Anti-Xi sentiments are growing within official circles, and public dissatisfaction with the CCP is increasingly visible. As previously reported, a historical book titled Yongxin, The Diligent Emperor of a Perishing Nation, was recently removed from shelves within 2 months of its release. Paradoxically, this led to a surge in demand for the book on second-hand book websites, with prices soaring to 1,280 Chinese yuan, approximately $174.93, 27 times the original price. Some individuals shared electronic versions of the book on Weibo using code names. The official avoidance of any connection between Yongxin Emperor and Xi Jinping had unintended consequences. Analyst Fam Yuan told Radio Free Asia that this reflects a form of soft power struggle among the public, highlighting the growing discontent within society. People are expressing their anger and frustration towards the authorities. Chinese society is increasingly filled with resentment and dissatisfaction. This poses a significant challenge for the CCP and Xi Jinping. Observers are closely watching to see if Beijing will seize the opportunity to collaborate with Russia, Iran, North Korea, and others to provoke military conflicts, escalate the Russia-Ukraine war, and the Israel-Kazakhstan wars in order to divert attention from internal Chinese conflicts. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.